Now we are interested in discussing the second topic of element of civil engineering and mechanics. Civil engineering is a core group, and in that you have different fields in order to work. So we will slowly discuss three topics per session, and now we will be understanding what are these different fields and what are their scope. Let us see one by one. Now the field of surveying. So whenever you want to construct, so before construction, surveying is essential. The study of surveying enables the engineer to determine relative position of points on the surface of the earth or below the surface of the earth. And you can see a human is viewing in so this instrument called total station. If you are viewing in this instrument, there you can see a light is transmitting. So this is a laser light. So he is working in this instrument. So there is a relationship between surveying and this instrument. So you know the concept of light, and the light travels at a particular speed and laser also travels at a particular speed. So if you want to determine the length and width of any place, say for example if you are buying any land, after buying that land you have to survey that land, you have to split that land. For example, you can take, if you have small 30-40 site, you have a limited amount of space in order to plan many things. But if you have 1 acre of land and if you want to build your environment, so construction is related to environment. What you construct is you construct your own environment is known as building. So building is a generalized term. You can build your house and you can build your surrounding and you can build where you live. In the building technology, if you want to split each and everything, see a traditional type of construction will be having a certain area for recreational activities, a certain area which will be open to sky, and a particular area for garden. These combines a house. But nowadays what happens, you will be having 2 BHK or 3 BHK. This is your house, so you will be not having any other amenities apart from this. Okay, so currently what you are interested is surveying, but if you want to split your land into separate things where you want to construct a building, say for example if you are purchasing land for building a school needs different place or a separate place for classroom, and it needs a separate place for lab and PT room, also the ground. Everything has to be splitted and the required proportions has to be given. So in order to do that, surveying is the first thing which should be done before the construction. First you should survey the land. What are the land can be splitted into different purposes, and this type of field in civil engineering is used to identify the length and breadth of the field, also the elevation, that is the height. So you have 3 dimensions, and by using this surveying you can find all 3 dimensions by using separate instrument. So this is one of the instrument which is called total station, which is used to identify the length and breadth of a area, length, breadth and height. The 3 things can be identified without even going there. Okay. So before the construction of any structure, surveying of a land on which they are constructed is to be come up is always done. This is what I highlighted. And during a survey, the surveyors use various type of tools. That is, it can be a total station, it can be a GPS. So this is a picture. You can see that after transmitting the light, it hits certain position. So whatever the distance you want to find, there you can place a mirror. It is called a reflector. If you place any mirror here, this instrument transmits the light, and so we already know the theory. The light travels at a particular speed, and by that traveling, if it travels for 1 second, so the distance travel will be calculated. This is the way the advanced method of surveying works. Surveying is simply the measuring distance, that is length, breadth and height of anything in the earth. You can identify by using this surveying field. Okay. So there are different methods also. You can use this kind of total station equipment and GPS, where you have everyone are using mobile phones nowadays, and in that you can plot your location and where you want to go, how much of distance is there, you can identify. How you can identify from your location to the destination where you have to reach? So you have a GPS technology, that is satellites are there. From that satellite you are being monitored and the different locations can be identified, and all the measurement could be taken by using this GPS also, that is global positioning system, and 3D scanners, radio communication, digital levels, dumpy level. These are the instrument which is used in surveying. Okay, so let us know why the surveying is required, scope for that. Now we know that India has a definite boundary in length and width of our country. But before that, who established these boundaries? So we need certain technique in order to establish our boundaries, in order to stop the border issues. So if you want to establish your boundaries, then you have to do surveying and to fix national and state boundaries. Also there will be issues on state boundaries itself. So if you want to solve these boundary issues, you have to conduct surveying. To chart coastal lines, navigatable streams and lakes. This is not only the land, even you can measure your coastal line. What are the length of coastal line is available? So if you have more number of coastal area, then it increases the ability of constructing a harbor. So if you want to construct a harbor, you need coastal lines, that is approach towards the land and water. So if you have that scope, then you can build a harbor, and soon if you build a harbor, then you can raise your economy. So surveying is not only identifying the length and breadth of land, it is also used for measuring the depth of a ocean and the coverage of the ocean. It may be ocean or lake or river, whatever might be. You can measure those things by using this technique and to establish control points. So here you can see a picture. If you want to establish your location and you want to make your boundary line by using the existing lines, so these are the existing lines, and the red color where you purchase your land. So after purchasing the land, you can plot your boundary lines, then to execute hydrographic and oceanographic charting and mapping. So this is what I highlighted. Hydrographic survey is to survey the water bodies, and oceanographic survey is greater than that. Hydrographic will be lake, river, pond, like that. You can identify the quantity of water which is available in a lake. Say for example, if you need water demand in a particular area, if you conduct a survey there in a lake, you can identify the amount of volume of water which is available, so that each and every people, we already know how many people are locating in a particular area. So for that, if a single person need, say for example 250 liters per day, and total number of population needs this much of quantity of water, soon you can identify a lake where the water demand for these people can be fulfilled. So you need to find the volume of water, how much quantity of water which is available in that lake, so that you can fulfill their current and future needs. So this is, for this what you have to do is you have to conduct a hydrographic survey. So through that survey you can identify the length and breadth of the lake, also the depth. If you find those things, then you will be getting the amount of water which is available in that lake. So this is known as hydrographic survey, and for a larger extent for oceans, you will be going for oceanographic survey, and you can do survey and make a map. All created by conducting the surveying to prepare topographic map of land surface on the earth. So topographic map to identify how many lakes are available, how many rivers are there, and how many valleys. These are the identifiable points in a area. So if you want to know these things, you can find this detail in topographic map. And what are the classification of survey? Now you know what is surveying and what is the scope of surveying, why you need to do that, and what are its importance. Now let us differentiate and classify the different types of surveying. First type is topographical surveying. This is what we highlighted in scope, and if you want to identify surface of earth and such as rivers, hill, lake, these are different things which is available in a area. In a certain district, how many rivers are there, how many lakes are available, how many kilometer of road runs through that district. So all the things you can get from the topographical map. So for each and every state you will be having a particular topographic map for district wise. So you can find through the website and you can know these data from that map. So how they are providing that map? So civil engineers conduct a survey and they make these maps and they update these maps used by the public and the government. And next thing is cadastral survey. These survey are required to determine boundary of field houses. You can see a picture here. Number of plots are available. So if you are viewing a cadastral map and if you are conducting a cadastral survey, you can derive a cadastral map, and in that you can see what are the boundary of field and the boundary of houses, everything will be there, and you can easily identify the boundaries of. Next thing is city survey. So this survey is conducted in a city to identify what are the location of water supply, sewer lines, and in foreign countries you will be having gas supply through pipe and electricity survey through a pipe. You can see a black color lines here. These lines runs along with the road. So this lines might be the sewer line, and there will be another line which is indicated here. This will be a water supply line, and for each and everything, road is not only for transporting. Other facilities are also provided along with the road. So there is drainage along with the road, and there will be water pipes which is running along with the road, and sewers are available, and telephone lines are available. If you conduct city survey, you could know these things and you could differentiate this thing along with the existing facilities. And the next type of survey is if you need a mineral wealth map. If you have some mineral resources, that is, you can find uranium. What is the total volume of uranium available under your district? So you can find those things by using the mine surveying. These are the different types of highlightable classification of survey. And classification based on instrument. So there are different instrument which is used for conducting this survey. After conducting a survey, you can derive a map. And okay, so based on the instrument, see, this is a chain, this is an instrument which is used to find the length of any area, and this chain is used to survey land. In land, if you want to find the length of a certain hill area, you can take a tape and measure the distance. But what will be the case if you find any undulated place? So you have ups and downs during the measurement. So these things cannot be measured by using a tape. Hence the chains are used here to get a accurate distance. So based on the requirement, different types of surveying instrument are used. So they are chain surveying, you will be having chain like this, and compass surveying. So this is a compass where you will see north and south pole, also the remaining 360 degrees. by using this compass survey, you can identify and you can locate certain directions in your land, and combination of chain and survey you can conduct. And theodolite survey, this is an instrument called theodolite. You will be having a telescope. So by this telescope you can view any distance, that is 100 meter, 200 meter, up to the ability of the focal point of the instrument. You can view the distance, and by viewing you can identify the height or length or breadth by using mathematical equations. So this instrument is used to find the angles, and that is horizontal angle and vertical angle, both are able to measure by using this instrument called theodolite. And plane table survey, so this is a table which is plane, and these are instrument accessories are here. So by using this you can draw a map. So this is a different type of survey. And the last thing is electronic distance meter. So this is what I have indicated in the first slide. This is a total station instrument where a laser will be sent through this telescope and you can identify the distance. So these are the different type of instrument. In some cases one instrument is more advantage than another. If you want to survey a place where you can't even go there, if there is a jungle or if there is a river which is crossing, you cannot take a chain or tape in order to measure a river. So in that cases the following other instrument will be useful to conduct a survey and identify the distance. So now you got some idea about surveying, what is the field of surveying and why it is used. Now let us come to next field, that is building materials. So this is a large area and dynamic area. Number of building materials are emerging year by year, and these are the conventional material which you know that they are bricks, cement, concrete, sand reinforcement, glass, and different types of tile nowadays we are using in all the houses, and wood. So before a 30 to 40 year you cannot see the tile construction for a common house, and nowadays all the houses are constructed by using these tiles. This is possible because of the field called building materials. So year by year you are having a additional or upgraded material which is available in market. You can upgrade your houses and construction by using this field. So the material required for construction of structures are called either civil engineering materials or building materials. So by using this material you can construct your building or your house. It is very essential for an engineer, builder and architect. So these three people, an engineer is a person who constructs the building. So he is a person who is a client. He is a person who wants to construct a house for him, and he approaches engineer and architect. Architect give a good plan and architectural and aesthetic plan. So by using this plan, the engineer, that is the civil engineer, construct whatever is required. So these three people, the public, the engineer and architect, should know the different material which is available in construction so that they can choose the right material for their construction. The essential for building material is achieving overall economy. What is the use of this building material is finally to get maximum benefit and maximum economy. And the building material accounts for about 70% of total cost of the construction. Whatever might be the construction, it may be building, dam, bridges, treatment plant, industry, whatever might be, the material which is used for construction cost 70% for the construction. What are the list of important building materials? So let us see brick. You already know brick. Let us see from what materials these bricks are built. So it is built from the natural material called clay and sand. So these are available in land. By using these two primary material, the brick is being made. By burning those clay and sand into a proportion in a kiln, you will be getting bricks. And you have next material called stone. So these stones are derived from igneous rock. So you would be heard about igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic rock. So the rocks are available in mountains, hills and slopes. So these rocks is being blasted, and after the blasting you will be having irregular piece of rock. So these rocks are taken to a quarry, and from that quarry these material are being cutted into a defined shape as like as brick. So this process is called dressing of stones. So after that you will be getting stone for construction. And aggregates, aggregates is, it might be sand or it might be blue metal. So these are all inert material. While blasting the igneous and sedimentary rocks, the waste during those blasts can be taken as aggregates, and if you further crush that you will be getting sand as well as the coarse aggregate, and it has to be crushed. So there are different technical names in aggregate, that is crushed stone, gravel, sand. These three are different. So sand is much finer and gravel will be coarser than sand, and crushed stone will be more harder than gravel, and broken brick and blast furnace slag etc. obtained naturally or by crushing. And cement, you very well know about cement. It is used for making the concrete or cement mortar. So this is created from the core material limestone and known as alumina, and limestone and alumina, these are the primary constituent of a cement. So this is derived from the rocks. Then alternative building materials, to reduce the cost of construction and to increase the strength. This is the major requirement of alternative building material. Example, you know that mud blocks are used. So before bricks, mud blocks are used, and for the replacement of mud blocks, bricks came into account. And soon after bricks, now you are having fly ash bricks, and which are grey in color. So this will be red in color. These material evolve into concrete blocks, which may be solid block or hollow block. So this material which is used as masonry material. And next thing is composite material. Composite, in the name it indicates two or more material, is called a composite material, and you can use combination of two material in order to get a good building material, that is wooden laminates, asbestos cement sheet and reinforced glass. These are all called as composite material, where two or more major ingredients are being used to form a single material. And last thing is smart material. What do you call as smart material? So this material does not exhibit change in their non-mechanical properties like thermal, optical. If you have temperature variation during hot and cold climates, you can see our roof behaves like that. So during a hot climate, you might see the heat inside the house. So some smart materials are available. They do not transfer the heat outside to inside the house. They are thermally non-reactive, and optical smart materials are available, electrical and magnetic. So these materials could be used for better utilization of our resources. Next field is construction technology. So this is basically a sustainable environment is created by constructing a building. So while constructing, you are not constructing only the house, you are constructing the environment. The building technology covers the planning of different units of a building to provide suitable environment for the activities which is designed for the building. I am highlighting the point activity. Say for example, in a residential house, you will be having maximum 4 to 8% in a single BHK room. But in case of the same area, say for example 1 cent of area, a 50 number of people will be there in a shopping complex. Note that the building which has less number of load due to less number of people and less number of movement. And in a shopping area, the same area will be having too much of load. So the construction of those kind of structure will be different from the residential house. This is what I would like to highlight in construction technology. So according to the activities, the different type of construction technology will be used. I need to construct a bridge. So the bridge cannot be constructed always in a land. Sometimes you have to construct a bridge over the river. So at that point of time, you cannot follow the same procedure what you do in a land. You cannot excavate directly. You need to have caissons. So caissons is a type of structure which is used in underwater construction. So you need different type of construction technology. So if you want to construct bridges, that technology is different from constructing a house. You need cranes, you need lifting equipment, you need erecting equipment. So like that, according to the type of construction, a bridge, a dam, a house, and a residential place, a commercial place, these are different types of construction, and each and every construction is not similar and it will be different. So this is what I would like to highlight, the term called construction technology. And according to the climatic influence on a building environment is vital for minimum energy consumption, and this is taken into account while constructing. Building technology always covers maintenance and repair. So the construction or building technology not only focuses how to construct, so it also focuses maintenance and repair of a construction what you have made, and safe demolition. Now you can see lots of videos as a 20 or 30 story building which is being demolished within 5 or 10 seconds. So how it is possible? If you want to demolish a house in olden days, it takes a number of months and years in order to demolish safely. So now it is a 5 or 10 seconds of work. So how these are all possible? In the sense, due to the construction technology, the demolition could be easy. Okay, so this is what I highlighted, building classification. So there are different types of building according to corporational guideline. So there are residential building where people reside, and public building and common people joined in a single platform, and that is commercial building. And industrial building is different. Here you can see this is a power plant and this is a factory. The load coming in a factory which will be different. The equipment which are used in factory will be very much heavy, and the construction process is different in this type of structures. You can observe theme parks, and these comes under recreational buildings and educational building, which is different. Hospital building, warehouses where you store all the production. If you are manufacturing any glasses, if you are manufacturing food material, all the things are stored in warehouses. So construction of warehouse is different. So these are different classification of building. So for each type of building, the construction technology is different. And the last thing is special purpose buildings. So it can be an atomic power plant, or it can be thermal power plant, and these kind of power plants are special purpose buildings. Okay, so let us come to scope of construction technology and its management. The term construction is comprehensive. What do you mean by comprehensive? It is written, the way it is verbally written, than the building technology. What do you mean by comprehensive and technology? Comprehensive is the way you write, it doesn't mean physics or mathematics. So there will be less number of mathematics and physics dealt here. So in English and you can see comprehensive content, and in physics, mathematics, you can see technical content and mathematical content. So construction technology is comprehensive, that they only consider how to construct and what to do first and what to do second. So these things are comprehensive, and building technology is different. Building construction and building technology are different, and it is comprised of different techniques of construction for different material under different site conditions. The management or organization of men, material and methods in a relation to site. So how you handle the labor. If you want to construct, you need labor and you need building materials, and you should know what method to construct. How you utilize these three things, how effectively you utilize, which plays a vital role in construction technology. So if you effectively use these three things, then your project will be completed quickly and with less cost. The ultimate aim is to achieve the desired construction in most economic way. This is the key point here for construction technology. There are 10 M's of construction management. Or after, while you are having these three things, that is men, material and method, you have decided these three things, and how you manage these three things comes under the 10 construction management all types. So these are the things which is required for a good management. Yes, we have came to our end of our session. Now we discussed what is surveying and what are the field in surveying, what are the instrument which is used in surveying, and where you apply this thing. And for building materials, what are the different building materials available and how the building materials are derived, and what are the innovation, what is the positive and negative things we have discussed. And at last, we have dealt about construction technology. What are the different types of structures to be constructed? What is the scope of construction technology and the management? So these things, so you know how these three fields are different now. Before that, you would be knowing all comes under civil engineering, but these things are different. The person who's conducting surveying will be different, and person who is constructing will be a site engineer, and person who is conducting a survey will be a surveyor, and person who is purchasing the building materials will be quantity surveyor. So these are different type of people who do the same civil engineering work. So I hope that you identify the difference between these people and these works, and I hope you enjoyed this session. See you soon. Happy learning.